Of the nation's attention is focused on our northern border with Canada. We're concluding our series about our southern border with Mexico, crossing borders, migrants in the Midwest.
As asylum-seeking migrants continue to be bussed into Chicago right now, the city is being forced to make some tough choices about allocating resources as it also pushes for billions in federal funding.
Erica Jimenez and George Mallet just visited Chicago for a first-hand look at what's happening there. They join us now live with more.
Lauren Joss, there is nearly universal agreement that the U.S. border policy is flawed, but there is very little agreement on who is to blame for the border problems. Republicans in Washington blame the Biden administration for the border crisis.
Well, meantime, South Bend's Democratic Mayor James Mueller is calling on Congress to fix what he calls our broken immigration system. We take you back now to Chicago. Thousands of asylum-seeking migrants are living in tents pitched on the streets of Chicago, a sanctuary city. Although there has been a recent decrease in the number of migrants arriving in the Windy City, buses are still coming. Chicago resources are stretched thin. Indiana's junior U.S. Senator Mike Braun just returned from the U.S.-Mexico border, where in April of 2020, the number of monthly migrant encounters by the U.S. Border Patrol had fallen to 16,182. But encounters with migrants at the border have soared since. In September, just weeks ago, that number had reached an astounding 269,735 migrant encounters. Braun's immediate concern?
Drugs, fentanyl primarily. And when you look at 100,000 lives being lost annually, start doing that daily calculation. That's because we have a leaky border.
Drugs are a key issue for Braun, but he's also concerned about what he sees as people coming from everywhere.
50 different nationalities, many of them from South America and Central America, now 169 nationalities, many flying into Mexico, paying top cartel fees to get into the country.
The senator says it's time to return to the policies of the Trump administration.
Go back to what was working.
Braun is adamant that illegal border crossings should not be condoned. Of course, Senator Braun is seeking to be the next governor of Indiana, and his hard line regarding migrants stands in sharp contrast to the congregation here at St. Adalbert's Catholic Church. This congregation would warmly welcome asylum-seeking migrants if they continue east to Michiana. Father Ryan Pietrocarlo is the pastor here at St. Adalbert's. Many members of his Latin congregation came here in the 80s and 90s, landing jobs in Elkhart County's RV plants.
There's something for them here for certain. I think we can offer them something too. So I think we'll see if we get some of that migration this way. But I think this is a place that definitely can be a home, and it has been a home for Latinos for many decades.
Father Ryan says the Catholic belief in social justice and human dignity will his congregation to be welcoming to any weary, tent-dwelling migrants here on Chicago's southwest side.
And that's a big part of our parish, is just welcome people. This is a home, and also particularly a spiritual home for many people. And so certainly here we're always are willing to welcome people who come to our doors.
And St. Adalbert's can be a home with real resources, from citizenship classes to financial guidance to a hot meal. Father Ryan maintains all are offered without hesitation.
And we definitely would be willing to help any family, anyone who comes by our doors, to find the resources that they need.
Now, I made mention of South Bend Mayor James Mueller a moment ago. He gave us this statement. South Bend is a welcoming community, enriched by the diverse backgrounds of its residents. We need Congress to act with urgency and fix our nation's broken immigration system, because new residents are critical to our economy and future growth.
And as you heard from Senator Braun, Republicans see this issue as a presidential failure. We'll have all the viewpoints covered for you on our website. In addition to the reports that you've seen here on air, we'll also have our coverage translated into Spanish. Nuestra serie completa, Cruzando Muros, Migrantes en el Medio Oeste, estará disponible en wndu.com.
Very important reporting from you both. We appreciate you both. Now that this series is coming to an end here, what has been the biggest takeaway from you guys? Erica, we'll start with you.
Yes, guys, so as I mentioned on the noon show, we often hear the word humanitarian crisis, but do we take a moment to realize that these words can also be used separately? I see that there is a crisis, and I also see the human side of it. So I feel that that's what I took away from this project.
What strikes me is just, and I'm a glass half full guy, the way in Chicago in particular, people are helping out. Like just today, there was a headline, the Chicago Bears teaming up with the Salvation Army to feed some of the people living on the street.
Well,
So
you
many
guys,
people.
yeah, you did a great job covering this. Again, 3 different parts, all angles of this story.
Yeah.
And it was really well done.
You can find everything on WNDU.com, and you can see it on our Espanol section of the website as well. We appreciate you both. Thank you.
We'll be right back.